Hello and welcome to SPSS Class 4 from part S16, where we're going to combine some of these categories because when we look back at the crosstab results, the numbers in these cells are too small. So strictly speaking, for reliable results we want bigger numbers. So one way of doing it is to combine state and local privates. Those are all the ones that are owned within one country, and then combine foreign private with mixed private, the ones that have some foreign ownership. So this is what we do in part S16. So we're going to create a new variable called domestic own, which has got 0 if it's foreign owned or mixed private, and 1 if it's state or local ownership. And we're going to label those values international and domestic. So the way you do that is get back to the data somehow and transform, and it's recode into different variables. So we want to call it, new variables can be called domestic own, and it's going to be based on the ownership type. So types. So types 0 and 1. 0 and 1 is going to have the value 0, and types 2 and 3 have the value 1. Yeah. So you can use this range thing. So types from 0 to 1, that's going to be value 1, the 0, sorry. And from 2 to 3, it's got to have value 1. Okay, continue. Okay, that should have done that hopefully. Yeah, there's the 0s and 1s. And then, because it's a bit hard to read 0s and 1s, so I'm going to label the values using this column here. So 0 is going to be domestic, and 1 is going to be international. So that's made the value labels. And then back in data view, which I can't find. Okay. Back in data view, we can see that it's been created like that. If you want to just check you've got sensible values, you can drag that up to there, so that they're next to each other. Now you can see that, yeah, foreign private's international, local private's domestic, state is domestic, mixed private, yeah, so it's all works fine. Okay, and now we can try repeating the crosstab again, but this time instead of the original ownership type, we can use the domestic ownership type like that. So there should be 2 categories, keeping the chi-square test hopefully. It's taking some seconds to work out. Okay, so it's brought up results. So here's the combined chi-square table. So now you can see that there's plenty of numbers in each category. The warning now has gone away, it's 0 cells, so we can take the results is much more reliable now. And the SIG value is 895, so it hasn't changed a lot, 89.5%. So again, we don't reject the null hypothesis. That's a higher value, so there's no strong evidence at all here, or there's no evidence at all that there's any relationship between the type of domestic ownership, between the type of ownership and the resource management system adopted. Okay, and then finally, S18. Do you think there's any evidence for any relationship between any other pairs of categorical variables? So, if we look at the categorical variables, not those. It's the data. So, what categories have we got? Well, all the categories are neatly together at this end. I think those are not categories. So, is there going to be any connection between eco-license management, domestic ownership, possibly eco-license and management? So that could be a connection there. So we can look at let's cross tabs that. So let's have eco license there. So it's a relationship between the type of natural resource management and the kind of license they have. This is suggesting that ecotourism license is very small numbers. Yeah. So again, it's going to give us a warning. 50% have got too low, so it's not reliable, and it's a high percentage. So there's no strong evidence of that at all. Okay, so there's not many others we can do. The one that's left out, we haven't done eco license and ownership. So we try the eco license and ownership one. Put eco license there. First of all, we'll do with the type when it's all those different categories. So it's a smallish value, 0.129, but not less than 5%. Percentage breakdowns look pretty similar in each group, but it's warning us that 62% have got less than 5%, so completely unreliable results. So what we need to do is to combine the data together again, the same as we did before. So as we've already done that, we could just use that. Instead of the original type variable with 4 different values, we can use the domestic ownership variable, which has got 2 different categories. See if that gives us more reliable results. Still low there. One cell's got 5%. A bit more of a difference in percentages. Yeah, so some weak evidence there. It's almost less than 5%, but it is weak evidence, and 2 cells are still expected count less than 5. So some very weak evidence there. There's an association between domestic ownership and the eco license. Okay. Right. So when you look at relationships between other pairs of categorical variables, there's at best weak evidence of any relationship there, because you're not getting any p-values below 0.05 or 0.01. Okay, so that's the chi-squared test when you're looking at for association between categorical variables. Okay, so thanks for watching.